Hello and welcome to the Authoropod podcast. I'm your host Revati, and today Nishri told me that we are collaborating with Jayanti Shankar, a lovely author, and she runs workshops for young minds to sharpen their pens, their minds for doing it better in the literary world and making literature a beautiful place to be. So, for that workshop, we have three facilitators with us who will be helping those attendees, the people who are participating in the workshop, to do and write better. So, we have Sanjay Chandra ji with us, we have Aparna Nagda, and we have Anamika Kundu with us. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So, let's begin with Sanjay Chandra ji. I'll read out the little bio of his. Sanjay Chandra is a former Indian Railway Services officer. He has been involved with the construction industry across railways, metro rail, and power transmission and distribution segments for more than 40 years. He has now transitioned to the creative world. He is the founder of Kala, a platform to promote literature and arts. He is also an author, speaker, coach, arbitrator, and strategy consultant. He conducts workshops on creative writing for young adults and corporate executives. He writes regularly for The Pioneer and occasionally for The Hindu. Along the way, Sanjay also realized that he has a storyteller within him. Every communication in his life was a story in itself. He has 3 award-winning books in his credit: Behind Closed Doors, Murder Mystery, The Gymnast, Contemporary Fiction, and The Life and Times of a Common Man, and Memoirs. The Gymnast has also been translated in several languages, which are also available on Amazon. His short stories, The Surgeon and A Level Playing Field, have been published in the anthologies The Little White Book of Stories, Volume 1, and Playground Stories, respectively. He organizes literature festivals to inculcate a love for reading and writing. He also conducts talks and workshops on creative writing in colleges and corporates. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Sanjay ji. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Revati. Thank you for such a warm introduction, such a great introduction. I'm doing good, and it's a pleasure and privilege to be present here for this podcast this evening.
Lovely, lovely. So likewise, we are really excited to have beautiful minds here who have been doing really, really well in the literature world. And they're also distributing this knowledge of theirs to the next generation. So to begin
Yeah,
with,
absolutely.
yes. So to begin with, your first question will be, you have been in the literary game for quite a long while, and you have witnessed the transitions time in and time out. What has your observation been with it? Have you brought changes in your writing style and perception towards the literary world, sir?
Okay, so for a better part of my life, I had been a reader. I toyed with a couple of short stories. Probably toyed with one or two poems when I was in college, and that was the time when actually you did not have the internet at all. So you had to send your work for to be published through postage,
Yes.
and with a self stamped envelope, so that if they rejected it, they could send it back. And so my writings got rejected, and that was the end of my writing journey at that point of time. And then I got into engineering, and then got into government job. So there was absolutely no writing at all. I mean, I would not say not much, but there was absolutely no writing except for writing on the government files. But I realized that reading had been a passion with me. The first book probably that I was gifted by my aunt was The Three Musketeers, and I must have been about 7, 8 years old. And then I also read a comic adaptation of the David Copperfield, and that got me into reading. And those were the times when most of the readings were from the overseas authors, I
Yes.
would say.
Yes.
There were not too many Indian authors at that point of time. Uh, it was only in 2019 that I actually my first book was published, The Life and Times of a Common Man. And by that time, there had been a substantial change in the way literature was going about. I mean, even for the writers also, the self-publishing industry had come up. And so everyone who had something to say, had something to tell, could write a manuscript and could self-publish. And I also did that. The second book was then again, by the time the second book came, it was through a hybrid publishing model. They liked the manuscript, the gymnast, they liked the manuscript, but it was a hybrid model. And the third book was also more of a hybrid model, Behind Closed Doors, which was a murder mystery. So what I have realized is that literature in itself, or writing in itself, actually has become now, as they say, they sometimes say that there are more writers than readers. So what is happening is there are two things that are happening. One is that more and more people are giving expression to their thoughts through their writing,
Right.
and these self-publishing platforms are available for them to be published also. And there is lesser and lesser number of people are now getting into are now reading books actually. And this is something, this is a dichotomy. Writers need readers, readers need writers, and not only that,
Right.
the youngsters actually need to get into the reading mode or the writing mode, because it prepares them for their future life. And what also happens is that for these writers, because they are in a hurry to see their manuscript in their hands, the book in their hands,
Yes.
so a lot of things get overlooked. The structure of the story, uh, the editing part of it, the grammar, the language, lot of it gets overlooked, which is also not right. I think there is need for youngsters. I would say that there is need for youngsters to actually inculcate the habit of reading as well as writing. But when writing, they should also inculcate the habit of patience to polish their writing, and create several multiple drafts, as they say, and so that a better version of what they have written, a more engaging story, goes out in the world. Reading and writing, I think, to come back to your question, reading and writing are absolutely important. They have seen changes over the decades, over the years, but there is need. What Jayanti Shankar has done is absolutely fantastic. There is need for such workshops to be held for the youngsters, so that they can polish their writing process.
Right. So, with that, I have a question like, how serious are people today? I mean, the youngsters who really want to become, uh, in each and every field, I have observed this, that people don't have lost patience.
So
Only
people
few,
have lost.
hmm,
Yeah, please continue. Yeah, you were saying something.
only few who have been brought up in such a way that patience, who have made to realize that patience is an important thing in whatever field you are. Only they, I guess, try to stay patient, learn the technique, respect it properly, and bring it out. Isn't it
See,
so? Hmm.
patience or diligence
Hmm.
is absolutely is the most important ingredient of anything that you do in life.
True.
Even in your professional career, also,
Right.
it's the diligence that gets you in the front, that moves you forward. Not your genius. I mean, everyone is a genius in his or her own right. But it's patience or diligence, as I said. Diligence is absolutely essential. And yes, you are right. This is becoming an era of instant gratification. And that is where it is the role of people like us
Hmm.
to actually inculcate that habit of diligence or patience into the people. And that is how these workshops, the six workshops that are there, that is how they have been structured. In fact, I've used the word structured because my topic itself is structure.
Yes.
And And so that is what how a story is to be structured. I'll just give you an example. I was talking to a friend just yesterday, and he told me that even the short articles that I have been writing for the Pioneer or the Hindu, these have seen a transformation from the my initial articles to now what is happening. And that is what I told him, that even for a short article of 500, 600, 700 words, I have to create multiple drafts. There are multiple revisions. I have to see that whether a sentence which is coming in the third paragraph should come in the third paragraph or it should move to the first paragraph. And my article may be about 1200 words. Initial article may be 1200 words.
Right.
I am I butcher my article like anything because I have to condense it into 700 words. So
Right.
I have to see that whether it is there is no repetition in it. What I am writing is contributing
Hmm.
to the flow of the story or to flow of the article or not. And
Yes.
that is the important part. So patience or diligence is absolutely essential.
Hmm.
And success would definitely come to those who actually follow this principle.
Yes, yes. In that case, I really have to appreciate you all for conducting this workshop, for letting people know and make them understand that how important it is to learn the tips and tricks and the technique behind writing. So the topics that I read, they were really, really essential ones that each one of you is
Yes, yeah,
delivering to the
absolutely. Yes.
students. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right. So again, my next question was, what are your 2 cents for the upcoming writers? We have already discussed a few of them.
So upcoming writers, keep writing
Yeah.
and keep reading, keep reading. Read and write and write. Bring your thoughts on paper or on laptop now these days. I don't. I'm not a pen and paper writer now. I use the laptop. That is how I am able to create these multiple versions. So keep reading, because the more you read and read good authors, the classic authors, because the more you read, the more you are able to improve upon your vocabulary, upon your grammar, upon your language, and the more you write, you are able to polish your writing. So
True.
don't just be satisfied with this. You should target perfection. End of the day, you may not be able to attain that perfection, but it will be still be a near perfection. So that is the important thing to follow. Read and write.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, sir. This is a much needed advice that every author who wants to be an author, I mean, as an established author, needs to keep running it in mind.
That's right.
Yes.
Very true.
Yes. So, and also, you told me that you butcher your words, you condense your words from 2,200 to 700. So, even after putting in so much of hard work, I have observed people write who are like on this side of the paper. I mean, yeah, we have
Yeah,
less newspaper readers now. People who read it, who are on this side, I mean, the
exactly.
viewers, they can easily comment, ये तो मैं इससे भी अच्छा लिख लेता. ये क्या लिखा?
Exactly.
We tend
Yeah.
to ये
No,
ऐसा थोड़ा
no.
लिखना था, right?
See, I tell you, today when I read my first manuscript, sometimes I open a few pages of the first book that got published in 2019,
Hmm,
and I realize what I have written. What have I written? I mean, I could have, and I should have done much better.
right.
And at that point of time, I was quite satisfied.
Hmm,
So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely important,
yes.
extremely important to keep reading your own work also.
Right,
That's how you will improve upon what you have written or what you are writing or what you are even going to write in future,
right, right. True.
because there are stories all around us,
Hmm,
and all of us observe these events, these incidents, and each incident, each event has the potential to be written into a short story, or maybe even developed into a full length novel.
novel, right. True.
So keep observing, observe things around you. Keep put them in a diary if you want to put them in a diary, or put them in a on your notepad or whatever,
Hmm.
and then develop it into a story.
Yes.
There are
So
so many untold stories yet to be told.
yes. So the end line is be your best critic and increase, keep pushing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. Keep pushing your boundaries
Yeah.
and be your best. Be
Yes.
your best critic.
Critic.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So thank you. Thank you so much for that, sir. It was lovely, lovely
Thank
talking
you,
to you.
Reti. Thank you.
Now,
Thank you so much. It was
yes,
really
sir.
a pleasure.
Thank you. Same here, sir. All right. So now moving on to Aparna. So Dr. Aparna Salvi Nagda is a consulting homeopath by profession and writer by passion. She earns her bread and butter through medical practice in Mumbai. Her short stories have won a place in around 10 anthologies, while her blogs have found a home on websites like Momspresso, Youth Ki Awaaz, the She Saga, Women's Web, and also the Times of India Reader's Blog. The Labyrinth of Silence is her first full length novel published by Vishwakarma Publications. It was longlisted for the Wise Owl Awards and bagged the runner up position at the Authoropod Awards. Previously, she has self published a novella called Not So Grave on Kindle and also has been a part of a short story collection, La Jawab Pizza, published by Vishwakarma Publications again. Apart from writing and treating patients, she is also a biology teacher and co runs Genius Academy, a coaching class in Dombivali. Aparna spends her free time volunteering for Goonj Foundation. She wishes to write till the last drop of ink in her pen and her last breath. So, hello and welcome to the podcast,
That
Aparna.
is very
And it's,
melodramatic, no?
yes, I like, Marte dam tak I'll do this. Wow, really inspiring. So, Aparna, so how are you today? Hello and welcome to the podcast.
I am on the seventh heaven, Revati, because after a long time I'm getting a chance to speak about my writing. Because as writers, we spend all our time we are talking to our characters in our head. To talk to live people, I mean, today is the day I'm talking to live people. So
Beautiful.
I am on seventh
Glad to
heaven.
provide the platform.
Thank you, Revati.
So, Aparna, in the workshop to be held, you're handling about the characterization part of it, of writing a story. Please elaborate
Yes.
about it. Why is it important and what are the key elements that needs to be kept in mind about a character while bringing it in a story?
Um, Revati, imagine a world without characters around you.
Hmm.
How would it feel? Okay, you whenever these days we talk about having our personal space, me time, but ultimately after we enjoy that me time, we go back to real people. Okay, so we need real people. We are social animals, and as social animals, society or other animals around us are very important, and that is what characters do to your story. You have a plot line, but you require somebody to propel that plot line ahead. Somebody should take it ahead. It will not go on its own. So characters are the spine, the life of a story. Okay, the story must be very simple. I believe there is no story that is untold today. You know everything, whether it is speculative fiction, whether it is sci-fi, whether it is fantasy, the new upcoming genres that I'm talking about, horror, So everywhere, that there is a basic story. Maybe it could be the boy met a girl kind of story, but it is the characters that make it interesting. You might have seen that, yes, I have read this story. Okay, I know this story. But the quirks of the characters, the personality of the character, the dialogue delivery of the character, okay, the way we each one of us says, okay, simply like when we entered this room, you said that you were warned that certain quirky people were going to come here. So what was this warning? Why did Nilashri tell you these things? Is that each one of us has a personality, and that personality adds charm to the story. We have a life story, and we have people who add charm to our story. So our characters, they make it very interesting, the way they talk. They have this, some people have some way of saying things, and they repeatedly say it in their dialogues. Okay, so those, that individual quirks, that individual arcs of every character are very essential if the story has to be interesting. If I just told you that Revati went to buy a bread from place A to place B, oh, but if I told you Revati went to buy a bread in the bakery and she saw a handsome young man there, and the moment she saw his apple eyes and she could not detach herself from them. So my reader is into the story. My reader is with Revati. My reader is, seeing the world through the eyes of Revati. So characters are the spine of the story. They propel or they take the story ahead. And whenever you're designing a character, it is like designing, you must have seen how artists work with a pot or with a canvas, okay, a blank piece. So you have to keep adding those small nuances to them, the way they look, the way their eyes shine when in sunlight. Every one of us has that kind of a different glint that comes when a beam of light falls. So your character looks totally different. So you have to make them attractive, and not all characters are attractive. Okay, certain characters you have to hate them also. So there is fun designing characters, like an artist when he or she sits across a blank canvas and starts painting. So here also, we as writers, we design our characters, we add those loopholes in them, we add those weaknesses and strength in them, and then you start rooting for the character. You, it's like watching a cricket match. You are all the time rooting for your favorite player, kind of. So you are also rooting for your favorite character in the book. And there are people whom you just hate, you detest them from the core of your heart, and there are some you wish they were just sitting next to you and you could give them a warm hug. Okay, so that is how the characters, they become interesting. It's like applying butter on a dry piece or a stale piece of bread. The moment there's butter, there's jam, you are ready to have it and enjoy. So characters, they propel the story ahead, they are the spine, and you will have to add quirks, nuances, and design them with whole heart.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful way of portraying it. Lovely. I never saw um, characterization in this perspective. And also, this actually gave me an additional perspective towards characterization. Authors are also actors, aren't they? Because they have to, for each character that they write about. I know this happens, but each one of you can answer me. Uh, your characters, do they cause an emotional disturbance in you?
Revati, if I have to answer this first, yes. So when I wrote my book, The Labyrinth of Silence,
Hmm.
one of my characters, Girish, is a
Hmm.
depressed man. Okay,
Ha.
he has gone through certain deep childhood traumas.
Hmm.
So when I wrote about him, I did experience that pain, and for nights together, it left a very unsettling feeling. And then when I started to write about his daughter Kashi, that voice used to remain the same. It used to feel that Kashi is speaking like Girish. So I had to give a 6 month break before I could start writing about Kashi. Okay, so my book is divided into three parts called as Mukhi, Girish, and Kashi. So Girish is a very troubled person, very depressed. And after I wrote Girish, Kashi is totally opposite. She's this vibrant, bubbly kind of person. But for 6 months, I couldn't write Kashi because there was this Girish effect on me. And it was very unsettling and very disturbing knowing that somebody has gone through it. See, though our characters are fictional, they are inspired by real life. Whether I know that person in real life is a different case. So whatever story has been written, kahi na kahi wo story ho chuki hai. And that story has come to you. That story has chosen you as a medium so that you could tell it to the world. So I feel that a person like Girish has lived his life and has lived this life with so much of disturbances, so much of pain and grief. And how is it possible, to that endurance that that character shows? So yes, I have felt upset, depressed for 6 months. I took a break for 6 months from writing that novel. I went back to writing short stories, and then I wrote Kashi when I could totally forget, not forget per se, but the trauma was a little less. I could come back and write about the other character.
Lovely. Lovely. Yeah. So moving on to Anamika, Sanjay sir, your thoughts.
Okay, so yeah, you know, when I'm writing my story or my novel, actually, I am living each character that I have created. I live through their tears, their joy, their sorrow, their depressions. I live through those. And yes, it is difficult to come out of that. Once I have completed the manuscript, then I feel a sense of loss, as if I have lost some very great friends. But it's absolutely, it is important and it is essential that the author feels the emotions of his or her characters that they are going through. And I am no different. I also feel that.
Beautiful.
So I agree with my other two co-panelists that as authors, we don't just create these characters, we live their lives. We live their thoughts. We live their joys, their sorrows, their questions. And that is how the characters then can be an all-rounded character and not just a two-dimensional character. So to make that character come alive, I have to have that character be a part of me and I be a part of them. Only then can my story, my character be convincing. And they have already said, the stories are not something that you have to go and pick from outer space. It's all around us. Like Sanjay ji very well said, that there are so many things you're observing, and if you choose to narrate about that, and as an author, you can, we tend to imagine that woman is walking like that. What could be the reason? Is she in a rush? Is there some problem? Is she going to meet a lover? Is she going to be, receiving some bouquets and appreciation? What is it? And it's something that's happening in the back of your mind. It's like a soup that you have put on the back burner. And I guess that happens with all of us. And suddenly it emerges in our next story, probably. And like you said about the characters, yes, we are affected by them. And Aparna has given a very good example of her own experience. I write short stories, but I delved into the world of writing a novel. And I experience the same thing. As you move on with the characters, and each character is different, so their way of looking at things is different. And when you are sketching the characters and fleshing them out, all those experiences come alive.
Right, right. So what are the end line that I can give to this is what ethical writing looks like. And I also expect and really pray that the future writers also understand that how important it is to put yourself into the shoes of the character and deliver it accordingly so that the readers really get the proper gist of it.
Uh, I'll interrupt here and tell you that when I'm teaching Shakespeare, I tell my students that he lived so many years back, 450 years back. But when you read his plays and look at his characters, immediately you say, oh, my uncle is like that. Oh, my friend is like that. So he has created some of these all-time famous characters, and they are all-rounded characters. And that's why we empathize with them.
True, true. Right. Lovely. All right. So that was with Aparna. Aparna, thank you very much for your beautiful quotes, and whatever you shared, the knowledge that you shared is really, really impeccable. It's very, very beautiful. All right. So
Thank you.
moving. Thank you, thank you. Moving forward with Anamika Kundu. Anamika is an author, editor, poet, and educator. A high school English teacher, she loves stories to read, teach, or write. She's often seen charmed by trees, sunrise, and the moon. Fond of traveling, sports, and nature, she assigns this to her nomadic existence as the daughter of an army officer and later being married to another. After having roamed the country and the world, she has settled down in the wonderful city of Pune. An avid reader, she discovered and honed her writing skills during the lockdown. Having curated 3 books for the impish Lass publishing house named Changed Forever, The Runner's Tribe, and Donning the Uniform, a privilege, her collection of short stories, Jewels from the Treasure Trove, was published by the Vishwakarma Publications and was well received. She has contributed short stories to many anthologies and has experimented in a number of genres. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Anamika. So, yes, you've been with us right from the beginning of the discussion. Yes, Anamika.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And it's a pleasure being here and a pleasure to talk to all of you.
Yes, same here. So, Anamika, you are a passionate teacher. When is the
Right.
ideal time to start equipping avid readers and enthusiasts in the writing journey?
That's not a very difficult question to answer because we are always telling stories to our babies
Hmm.
also, you know,
Yes.
when we feel they may not understand, but to keep them engaged and busy. That's how it used to be done in the old days. Now I think people just give the children a mobile or an app or a screen or tablet or, well, that's not what I would recommend. Narrate stories, tell stories, because what we are doing is enriching their minds. So, from my side, I think if we narrate a story, because I have also been telling parents how to get the children to start reading, is to start right in their childhood. When they're barely, not even a year old, you know, they can take picture books and start reading to them. And one of the ways in which to get them engaged would be the strategy would be to read part of it and then ask the child, what do you think happened? You're already turning that child into a storyteller. So the art of writing can come as soon as the child learns to write, but narrating and telling stories is going to spark that creativity in the child. And as it is, children are such storytellers. You ask them a question, where is your eraser? They will tell you one long story about where is the eraser gone. As teachers, we hear such creative excuses. Where is your homework? Why is it not done? And then we'll hear everything that happened in the house and why they could not do it. Or the famous story that the dog ate it. Some still try it today. So there are all kinds of stories. So no age is too early or too late, like Sir was saying that he started too late. There's never, I mean, everyone can start at whenever they feel just right.
Beautiful. Yes, definitely. So it's never too early or never too late, even in the womb. So you can, I have seen prenatal classes and they ask the mothers to talk to their, I mean, the not yet
Yeah,
born babies. So
yes.
that is, yeah. So,
That
and
is how Arjun only got half the story, you know, his mom
right, his
went to
mother dozed
sleep,
off,
sadly.
sadly.
But you see, that is a plot twist in the Mahabharata.
That's true.
Yes,
Yeah. So, as you said, like, yes, it is like you keep manifesting, you keep working for your child, and yes, children are like clay, and if you just tend to mold them in the right way, they tend to grow
yes.
up into, yes, into great
Absolutely,
writers. Yeah.
absolutely.
And
Yes,
readers. So you cannot produce writers all the time into great readers, into
yes.
great listeners.
Correct,
So yes, this literature thing is something really important. So because it creates individual a person's identity.
correct.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
And in fact, the CBSE board has also now become awake to this point, how
Hmm.
important stories are. So we have a story writing, um, what should I say, aspect to our curriculum, okay, which is going on throughout the year.
Hmm.
Children are encouraged to write stories. They are taught how to write stories over and above the regular curriculum. And in the IB board and the IGCSE that I have taught, there is a stress on writing stories. In the language papers, there is a stress on writing stories of different kinds. So the children focus on how to write a story, different genres, and like you rightly pointed out, before writing comes reading.
Right.
And like my co-panelists have been saying, that reading is the basic skill that only will lead you to a better vocabulary, a better way of expression, and a better story. Although you might have seen so many people in your neighborhood, in your own family, who are like such magical narrators that the moment they start, the moment they arrive, everyone just kind of, collects around them and is just all ears listening to them, whatever they have to say. That they are special, but all of us can narrate our own stories.
That's
We
true.
can, like any other skill, the more we use it, the more we practice it, the better we become. And like Sanjay ji and Napana has mentioned, that when they look at their first stories, and so do I, when I look at my first stories, I say, oh my God, did I write that? And it could do with so much more of editing, proofreading, probably,
Right.
and maybe I would have chosen a different sentence. So that again is our experience over the over the
Right.
years.
Yes. Then, and also, you to an academician. I myself am an academician, as I told you. So I have observed this right from my childhood. I have seen that the best performers that we call them, the so-called best performers, are bookworms. The people who are the so-called last benchers, they are the best storytellers, right? So like
Yeah.
we, but but we have see this actually is an alarm for us that we have to start. I wouldn't say appreciating, but at least we have to give ears to these people because they just weave up the best stories ever. As you told me,
Yeah.
the dog ate my homework.
So what we can do as educators, weave this into our curriculum. So
Hmm.
in many places, I have chosen to get the students to write in some way or the other, on some pretext or the other, have projects, have competitions amongst the students, and maybe a literary club after school, but to encourage firstly a love for reading,
Hmm.
secondly to write about it. So
Yes.
and then of late, when I have been reading out my own stories to the children, they have been all ears, because they don't know what's going to happen next. They have not heard about it, they have not read about it. So that was another nice way of getting my comprehensions done
Ah,
based on my stories.
nice.
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
that was good.
So, okay. So, Anamika, what is your methodology of
Of
sharpening, yes, your students for facing the future literature world? What is the methodology you
yes.
follow? Each teacher has one.
I always proclaim that reading is the best thing one can do.
Hmm.
So I have always been able to conduct, say, a literary week where the
Hmm.
focus is books, books, and like, a dear time where drop everything and read, where everyone from the principal down to the school staff, the helping staff, everybody is going to read at a particular time during that period when we are observing that dear time. And it has been so wonderful. There was pin drop silence across the school. The person in charge of taking pictures so that I could see who all are and share it with everyone. They couldn't believe it themselves that everybody had their book, their head tucked in a book and were reading and enjoying it, you know. And it was told very categorically, it will not be syllabus book, and it will even the teachers in the staff room, they were asked to, and they were very sweet and cooperated, that please read a storybook, and that's what they followed. So that is one strategy which works very well. I asked the people to start with a small thing. Maybe let's start with a description of a fruit. I say you have to describe this fruit without mentioning its name. For
Hmm.
example, a mango. How are you going to describe it? And it's going to be like a quiz for your friends. So they have come up with, it's the sweetest, juiciest, fleshiest fruit. The moment the juice touches my tongue, it glides down my throat like nectar, and I am so blissful. I feel I'm in heaven. And like that, they go on and on, and then they tease each other because they quiz each other. So from descriptions, it'll come to a scene. Imagine that, you look out of the window and you see dash, 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 dash. And then they let their imagination go wild. I find some of the best compositions coming during exam time, because
Mhm.
I think there is pin drop silence, no disturbance,
Right.
no gadgets. Uh, but a lot of children are going towards the the macabre,
Hmm.
murder and horror, and which I am not very fond of, though I've written in that genre.
Hmm.
But for children, I would prefer something more interesting, their age, and then of course we move on to story writing, and I just tell them how to go about it, the mechanics, read a couple of stories from here and there, and uh, then move on to the editing part so that they read each other's and they can help each other to improve their story writing.
Right.
That's what I follow.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So making them understand the importance of following a protocol.
Yes.
Yes, and worshipping whatever you do. We need teachers like you who really understand that what the future holds should be really responsible.
Yeah, but teachers need a good principal and management so that that
That's a different story.
required yeah, the required infrastructure can be given to
Huh.
this, and it's only when they do it that people like me can try it out, and of course then the results are there for everyone to see, and then it's a give and take.
Yes, yes, yes. It's a collective thing. Everybody needs to
Yes,
yeah. Everybody
it's a
needs to
team effort.
contribute.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah. So, I guess we have come to the end of this interview. It was lovely talking to each one of you, each one's insights, your thoughts, the knowledge that you shared was, I don't have words for it, beyond fantabulous, I would say. And I'm really glad and proud that I was given this opportunity to have a session with you all. So, all the best for the upcoming workshop that you're holding. And I wish all the best regards from Team Authoropod and all the participants. May they be benefited. Of course, they have the best gurus in the industry here. And thank you very much for being a part of this podcast today.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank
Revati.
you
you.
so
Thank you
much,
so
Revathi.
much.
Thank you so much, Revathi.
Thank you, Sanjay sir. Thank you, Anamika. And thank you, Aparna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Revati. And thank you, Authoropod.
Yes. You can mention Nilshri's name as well.
Yes, Nilishri, of course. She is the woman behind it all. And
Definitely.
what a vision she has.
Yes. Thank you.